actually get into photo stuff.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about agencies recently because as we first got here, I got specifically a little too excited. I hit up a bunch of agencies, and I was fortunate enough to get a lot of responses. And so I tried to schedule literally as many people as I could as possible just to get it moving.
I think you had 14 in 1 week.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Shot them all, and they were all great. But, like, it was so hard, and it is still so hard to catch up on, like, that many shoots that quickly, trying to keep everyone's turnaround. It's just, don't do that. Schedule yourself out. Yeah. Don't do it. If you get responses, try to schedule them. Don't be like, hey, yeah, I'm available tomorrow. Boom, no. Be like, hey, love the book. You know, you choose your girls or guys that you want to photograph and, like, schedule them out, like, 1 or 2 a week or so, because just don't do that. Yeah, I learned the hard way.
How many per week do you think you can handle? How many per week do you think you can?
I mean, if I was getting consistently, probably like 2 or 3.
That's shoots a week.
What?
2 like models a week?
Yeah, 2 to 3 max.
Yeah, I would say about 3.
Depends on how much free time and Adderall I have.
Also, what they're expecting. It's also
or
depending.
copious amounts of caffeine.
Yeah, that's
also true.
No drugs here.
Yeah, and also you get a little bit more motivation when it's a paid gig. When you're doing tests with agencies, a lot of times when you're first starting off, you're not really getting paid. So putting out all this work, it takes a lot of time. You got to make money somehow. So it's just, it's tough.
Yeah,
shooting that much.
I feel that because a lot of my stuff is definitely just tests, and I'm not getting paid for it. And it's definitely frustrating, but
yeah, well, that's how it is in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like some unfortunate, like if you do enough tests, or if your tests start off really well, you'll sometimes get an agent that will pay you for his tests, and that's like where it's at. Luckily, I have one, and so hopefully, I would like to grow that number. And so instead of me just reaching out, now they pay me to test their models.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so you definitely want to get to that point because otherwise, Casson's correct, and you definitely lose like inspiration and like imagination. Cause
it's hard to make that many concepts,
especially so quickly.
Yeah,
and then people see that you're doing the same concept for 2 weeks straight, and they're like, "Oh, well,
this guy is unoriginal."
Well, you got something that like is to be expected. Like you can just keep shooting the same thing, and people be like, "Okay, that's what I'm going to get." But it's also kind of pigeonholing you a little bit.
Yeah.
I think something I don't know if I struggle with, but like I feel like it maybe for all of us. I'm not going to speak on your guys' behalf, but like having like a full team, like a makeup artist on deck and like a stylist on deck, that would definitely come in hand. Just to like for like the whole creativity and like the whole concept. Like I think that would just make it so much easier because like when an agency hits me back and they're like, "What's your concept?" I'm just like, "Well, shit! Like I don't have the budget right now for a whole team."
I was gonna say like it helps. But one, you have to have the budget.
Yeah.
Or two, have 2 really good friends who like are willing to work with you to do it for free. Because makeup art, like everyone's trying to get,
everyone's trying to get their bag.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no issue with that, but it's hard to get a team like that. And like when you do, like you also add that, like especially if you don't make it known that you're like the head of the project, like everyone else is not. I don't want to say ego, but everyone else's like ideas start coming in. So like sometimes you'll have a concept in the beginning and it completely comes out the different way because the hairstylist added her point, the makeup artist added her point, the stylist added his or her point, et cetera, et cetera. So just keep that in mind when you're working with a team.
Yeah, I think some of my, I wouldn't say my favorite work, but when I worked with Avant with Connor Finnerty, I don't know.
No, yeah, Connor was cool.
He was a cool dude. His dad was chill, but like the whole like working with like a full creative team, like that really helped. Like took a lot of the stress off me.
That makeup artist was cool too.
Because all I had to do was focus on shooting. Like I didn't have to focus on like his outfit, his hair, like anything.
And that's also on the model too. They have to think about less. They just need to perform instead of like coming in with their makeup or coming in with their hair.
Like everything was like laid out for him. Like,
definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if you have anything to.
I'd call me old school, but I like working solo. I mean, yeah, there's times when I feel like, oh yeah, I should get somebody for this concept. Like, but a lot of times, like if it's as casual as a test or something like that, you almost don't want other people to muddy the waters of whatever your vision is.
Fair.
Which is kind of what I just talked about.
It's kind of what you're saying. Like, you might have a makeup artist that you see and you might be like, oh my God, they're amazing. But then you realize that there's like Photoshop going into like their previous work. And also like, you might not know kind of what their strengths and weaknesses are because you don't really know makeup that well. So you're
Right,
asking them to
right,
do
right.
something that they're not that good at, or like, you know, it can be really tough. And like Bert was saying, until you develop either a team that's taking paid gigs all together and kind of meshes after a while, or you have really good friends that are doing it for free, it's hard to kind of delve into that.